So when I last reviewed this guy, I saw a lot of criticism in the comments for my criticism towards the figure, and I was a bit surprised because I thought my criticism was actually based in reality and had some, in my opinion, pretty good points that I brought up to bring this figure down. And hopefully this video today will be to bring light to those issues and hopefully a better manner than I usually do in my reviews, because my reviews are usually quickly done, and this time around I'm gonna give you some facts and show you why I think that this figure is not very good. So my biggest problem with this figure, something I touched upon in yesterday's video, is its historical inaccuracies. The box claims that this is Stone Cold's defining moment from WrestleMania 14, going against Shawn Michaels with Mike Tyson as the guest enforcer. But this figure is not that Stone Cold. Here's a picture of him during the match. Before it, after it. He has one belt. He has one knee brace. And his vest? It's not this vest. So what is this Stone Cold figure? It is not the one from that defining moment. It's just some random Stone Cold figure, a mishmash of parts we've already seen, nothing really new. And it's mind-blowing that Mattel would release this saying that it's WrestleMania 14. It's blatantly obvious that it's not. And what's the point of a defining moment series that's based in historical events if you give us an incorrect figure in that line? What's the point? That's my biggest problem with this figure. It's completely inaccurate. I'm going to borrow a page out of Michael Crawford's reviews. He's a great reviewer, MWCtoys.com. I read him a lot for his hot toy stuff, and he has it down to a science. So we'll start off with packaging. Here's the box that this figure comes in, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's beautifully made. Love the defining moments box. It really looks beautiful on the shelf. Love the skulls of Stone Cold, shows him on the side. Nice biography on the bottom. Pictures. The only negative feedback I have towards it is for some reason these are holes that you can stick your finger into. I don't know what the point of that is. It's kind of weird. Also, I could see some people complaining about it not being super collector friendly because there are a lot of flaps and stuff that you might risk cutting with scissors or ripping open by accident. It's not like the Marvel Legends or the Black Series in terms of collectability and opening it easy. But for me, this is a 5 out of 5. Amazing. Love the Stone Cold fake autograph on the bottom, if you can see that. Love it. I think this is a fantastic packaging. Next up, the Sculpt. Personally, I didn't have many problems with the Sculpt, except that I thought that the legs were too thin and that the head doesn't really work. But I feel like that's more a paint problem than a sculpt problem. And I think it's certainly a head sculpt that could definitely have been made better if Mattel took the time to do a much better paint job. So overall, I'd say Sculpt is a solid 3.5 out of 5. And that brings us to paint. Paint really lets this guy down because he barely has any. He mostly has it on his face, and then everywhere else it's just printed off decals. And I really feel like that fails the figure. I feel like this face could be amazing, but they really just dropped the ball. And you know what? I got Photoshop. Let's see if I can test out some things and see if I can make this look a bit more like Stone Cold. So, what do you think? Does that look more like him? Yeah, Mattel dropped the ball. I'm giving this paint job a 2 out of 5. For accessories, he comes with 3 championship belts. I think that's great. Belts are often difficult to find, and you get 3 of them right off the bat. But as I talked about, historically, it makes no sense for him to get these 3 belts because this is the defining moment where he beat Shawn Michaels with Mike Tyson as the guest ref, and he did not have these 3 belts at the time. So depending on how you look at it, this could be a 5 out of 5 for getting lots of nice belts, or you could be like me and see it as kind of silly and put it 2 out of 5 because it's unnecessary accessories. It seems like they put these accessories in to make this figure be in the defining moments line when none of them have to do with that defining moment. And was it even a defining moment? Fun factor. This is a fun one. I'm going to say 5 out of 5 because he does come with so many belts. You can recreate so many moments, not just the defining moment that's listed on the box. Value. I'd say 2 out of 5. Hear me out. It's great that he comes with 3 belts. Belts are cool to have. So let's look at Stardust. Amazing paint job. Comes with 2 belts. Or the John Cena defining moments, 2 belts, 2 shirts. And this guy, 3 belts, and the vest that his elite figures usually come with. I think this would be much better just coming with 2 belts and being in the Elite series. Overall, I'd say this figure is a solid 3 out of 5. It's super flawed. It's historically inaccurate. And it's not, in my opinion, a defining moment at all for Stone Cold. It's more a defining moment for WWF, WWE. But it's nice to have these belts. But as a defining moment, leaves me wanting more. Now let's compare this figure to what is basically in its same range on the current market. And right now we'll start off with some mainstream, which is Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series, although the defining moments figure is in $25. I'll stick with $25, even though some places you might pay closer to $30. We'll go on the low end for this. And these two, let's say $22. You bought them on Amazon when they first came out. You get far superior articulation, but as you can see with the Black Series, sometimes you don't get as many accessories, but this does have cloth clothing, and I'd arguably say that it has better sculpting and better paint. Where in Marvel Legends, it's obvious that you get a lot more for your money, including 2 alternative heads, 2 weapons, and a Build-A-Figure piece, and much better articulation and much better paint. These are cheaper than this, and yet they kind of come with better things. Let's move to something more collector geared, which is NECA. I have yet to open this Sarah Connor, but this figure, which I checked the price on Amazon, it's listed at $22.99, comes with 2 alternative heads, 3 weapons, and what looks like superior articulation to this man, and what is certainly better paint, better sculpt, and I'd say better packaging. And then comparing it with similarly priced figures, DC Icon Series, Marvel Select, both at the $25 range, it becomes so obvious in my mind that this pales in comparison. The DC has amazing articulation while it's not the same scale. The articulation is definitely far superior, and it comes with a grand accessory. Yes, it comes with 3 belts and a vest, the defining moment Stone Cold, but the articulation plus this big accessory and bonus hands, which are not featured in the shot, certainly seems, in my mind, to give the Flash a much better value. And in basically no comparison, the Marvel Select Cable, which is being compared here because it's the one that I have most of the accessories to right off the bat, it just blows it out of the water. So many more accessories, comes with a stand that's beautifully designed. Articulation, not as good. The only thing that Stone Cold has that this doesn't is pretty much wrist bends, probably a bit more head movement, and an ab crunch. But you can definitely see that the sculpt is far superior, the painting blows it away, and just overall it's a way better value than what Mattel gave us with this. And lastly, let's compare this to another Mattel offering, the Movie Masters series Batman for $20. And it's like, yeah, you're getting a better deal if you only collect Mattel, but in this grand scheme of toy collecting, I don't think you're getting the best deal. I think it's overpriced. A thing I always see people say is like, oh, you should be happy you have this figure. Look at figures from 10, 20 years ago. They're crap compared to this. Well, that's crazy to compare stuff because, like, look at this. It's obvious that this is a better figure, but times change, standards change. You don't see people talking about watching black and white TV and then being like, you should be happy you have your iPads. It's like, totally different times, bro. Get out of the past. This is the future. We're not riding horses. We're driving cars. So that's my updated review. I'm not the biggest fan of this figure, and I think and hope that my points came across much better in this video. If you still disagree with me, tell me why. And don't go to the simple insult of Tommy, you're being so picky. Give me a real reason. Because I'm a reviewer, and critiques are what I do.